Okay, like I said when we started, I've got a lot of stuff to cover, so I'm going to cover it quickly and keep moving. So we can cover questions at the end, but I'll keep moving here because I really want to give you a lot of good content today. Where to start getting positive, since that's one of our main focuses today. Eliminate some of the negative and downer news stories you listen to in the morning. Listen to headlines, which is what I do, just so you're aware, maybe read a particular story you like, but just sort of scan the stuff. I scan the Toledo Blade, as you can see. Focus on replacing the negative with some positive or motivational kinds of materials. Put them on your iPad or iPod or in the car or on the CD. Post it in your home, somewhere where you see those regularly through the day. And decide how you learn best and use that medium. So that might mean you like CDs or DVDs or your headset or whatever that is. But find out how you learn best and how you can fit it in and use that medium. I take about a 30-minute class or lesson each morning, a lot of times on something I got by video or email or in an e-zine or blog or something. And I pick an area I want to grow in and maybe become more of an expert in. And within a month or more, you'll know more than most people if you just do that each day. Within 3 to 6 months, you're going to be considered an expert. And people are going to be coming to you. You can potentially be speaking or writing or whatever that is. Just remember, use your time in the reading room wisely. There's all kinds of time throughout the day. You need to take care of all of those things that you do and all of that time you have and utilize it to the best you can. So you can see, again, I'm a smart aleck and I always do these kinds of things. And you'll see a lot of little animal shots because I just like that too. Also use public transportation or your commute to grow. Ladies, take a look. But again, that's another place you can use your time well, and you might not be using it at all right now, but that might be a time or way you can fit this in during the day. Some of the downers to reduce, I actually pulled these stats back a couple of years ago when I started writing the first book here, and you can see foreclosures, 1 out of 8, bankruptcies, housing values declined to 50%, unemployment, jobs eliminated, Social Security, You got all kinds of stuff, and then you go to the 16 trillion with a T debt that we currently have. I updated that to fairly recent. And if you've never seen that U.S. debt clocked out, or take a look at it because it shows you how fast we're spending money and building debt. It's not easy to get pumped. I realize that. This is why you got to work at it, and you work at it daily, and you'll just get better at it. A pastor just shared with me that 16 trillion in debt. There's 320 million Americans. Divide that out, you get $51,000 per person that everyone, every American would need to pay to satisfy our current debt. We've definitely got to get a handle on this. That's going to kill us, frankly. It scared me a little too. Economy's so bad that I got a pre-declined credit card in the mail. CEOs are now playing miniature golf. The bank returns your check marked NSF. You call them and ask if you meant them or me. Hot Wheels stocks are trading higher than GM. McDonald's selling the quarter-ouncer. Truckload of Americans is caught sneaking into Mexico. Dick Cheney took his stockbroker hunting. Motel 6 won't leave the light on anymore. The mafia's laying off judges. Remember, it's your choice to feel good or bad. You choose to feel guilty or not. You won't feel bad unless you let yourself. Don't let others make you feel some particular way. It is your choice. Don't give it to others. Look at the bottom there. Laughter, small animals, babies laughing, music, little videos, journaling, growth materials. All those things make you feel good and positive. So if you're on a downer, get to those. Get to something like that. Get yourself back up and get headed back on the path, because we all hit down spots. I've hit them, you've hit them, I'm certain we're going to hit them again. Get yourself out of it. Use these kinds of things to do so. See, take a look at these pictures. Again, I'm a small animal guy. I love small animals. A little baby kangaroo, you can see. But as you can see, if this doesn't sort of melt you a little bit and make you feel better, wow, I'm surprised, because just about anybody I show this to really reacts positive to it. You can see their face turn to a smile. So use these kinds of things. I ran into this example where I was put in a guilt situation. I was a consultant to a big 3 auto supplier that was trying to reopen. I was going to stay on as a CFO of the new entity. So I was the numbers person, so they were really looking at me at, is this thing going to make it? When we went to loan places, banks, Port Authority, things like that. Keith was the president. He had so much invested. He was the only person over me that wanted me to go with figures that continued to be so stretched that they were not realistic. So I wouldn't change them as a consultant going to be the CFO, because I knew they were looking at me and they were going to hold my feet to the fire, and I knew he continued to push those figures so high that there was no way we could do it as a startup right out of the gate. He tried to guilt me into doing it because we had to do it to get the loans, to get the line of credit, to basically make it happen. I wouldn't accept the guilt trip. I said no. We parted company. I was done with everything. I gave them all their content, everything they needed, and said, I'm not going to be part of this because I'm not hooking my name to those figures anymore. He ultimately took them on, got open for a short time, couldn't come close to those figures, didn't get the sales that he had pushed, not even close, and had to file bankruptcy. And they got evicted from the place, and they ultimately figured out his words were clearly unrealistic. So don't let yourself get guilted into stuff. You've got to step up, and it's not going to be comfortable a lot of times. It wasn't with me. They really wanted to stay with that entity. But I knew what was right and wrong, and I said no. Here's another technique. Use successes. Things that have happened in your past that you have succeeded at. Whatever those are, big, small, in between. Start a journal. Little 3-ring binder, start writing whenever. It can be simple things. It can be, I got the monthly report done on time, February, this February. And that's a success. But put those down in a success journal. And now go back, though, to start this process and picture your 10 best successes. And really picture them in detail, one at a time. Close your eyes, stop, feel the emotions, and get all your senses involved in experiencing that, re-experiencing that positive or success experience. And really do that. Get a feel for it. And do that with your top 10. Get them listed in good detail, great detail actually. Get them down to where you really have a good handle on what you felt like when those happened. Build that journal. Refer to it when you're doing something outside your comfort zone. Remember I said get outside your comfort zone daily? Do that. Before you go to do one of those things, take a look at one of those successes and relive it. It'll boost you up right away. Jim is the VP of a Fortune 500 company that I knew that he had a journal he had for many years, a couple decades, and he would go take proposals to a board to get approval to spend a specific amount of money, buy a machine, put in a line, whatever it was, and he would go back and experience those different experiences of his to get him pumped up, to go to that board real confident. He would use the thumb and forefinger method, which basically what that does is ties an action to the experience so you can experience it when you take that action again. So what he would do is he'd get that success written down in detail with his thumb and forefinger together, and he would really picture it, experience it, all the senses, emotions, and with that thumb and forefinger together, it ties to that action. And therefore, when he would go back to that one, he would put that thumb and forefinger together and he would start experiencing that because the action triggers that experience. And that would boost him up and take him right into confidence with that board. Gratitude is another option. Gratitude journaling can make you satisfied and thankful for what you currently have, because you don't realize typically all that you currently have if you start looking at all the pieces of your life and all the things and situations you have. Could be people-oriented, family-oriented, could be physical item-oriented, could be housing, could be running water, could be all kinds of things. And it will typically reduce your desire to want more once you see the abundance you currently have. You can take it even further, and I suggest you do it because I've done it many times, and it does make you feel good. You go to somebody that you deal with daily, people that you come in contact with daily, and you just tell them you appreciate what they're doing, whatever that is. It might be the bag at the grocery store, teller at a bank, might be a nurse at a doctor's appointment, a mechanic fixing your car, hairstylist, whoever that is you run into, and there are people that are taken for granted a lot of times. And they really like it when you recognize something they've done, and you actually feel better too, but you make their day. I've done it several times and they really appreciate it. But that also makes you feel better too. Again, I'm smart aleck, it's not Confucius, but I have these throughout the thing again, as you've seen a few already. Helping someone up won't pull you down. People wrapped up in themselves make pretty small packages. Praise like sunlight makes everything grow. I have a lot of these sayings in the launch book throughout the thing that I just like and I go back to. Take gratitudes one step further. Stop before you go to bed at night. Each day, jot down 3 to 5 things you appreciate about your significant other or your spouse each night, and literally go through them as you put them in your journal. Tell him or her what they are and appreciate him or her for what they are at the time. Swap roles and have the other person do the same for you. Get them written down and keep them in a journal. Just a little 3-ring one. I get them for a dime across the street at a store. So get those things going. Keep it as a running of it you can refer back to. It strengthens your relationship daily. It increases communication, reduces taking him or her for granted, and it reminds you of the value, their value in your life. And that's pretty key. It keeps a very strong relationship, and it's very easy to do. And it makes you stop and actually look at that person that many times is the most important person in your life at the time. There's a big support for you, so you need to recognize that.